Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Footprints. I am your host, Mr. Davis. I'm an educator at BHS, that's Beverly High School, for those people who don't know. And joining me today is a junior at Beverly High School, and she's also the head of the Alliance for Students of Color. This is Kihanna Boutchie, right? How you doing, Kihanna? Welcome to the show.
I'm good.
I'm doing very, very well. Just so you know, it's Black History Month, ladies and gentlemen, as we're shooting this. And we've had a bunch of different meetings. And Kihanna, who is the head of the Alliance for Students of Color, has organized a bunch of different things. Most importantly, we have a doctor coming, Dr. Keenan McKenzie DeFranza, who is the new head of the NAACP, the North Shore chapter, ladies and gentlemen. And she strives to sort of nurture and understand folks like we all do. And one of the biggest things she does is this new chapter was founded, first of all, in 2020. And it continues to sort of grow as we speak. I'm going to share a little something because, by the way, Dr. DeFranza, if you can see this book, you should go get it. All right. Learning, listening, and leading. We're sort of taking what you've learned in your life and sort of taking it to the next level, right? And so about her, she's like this inaugural director of the Tufts Generous Listening and Dialogue Center. And she also did a whole bunch of stuff for higher education throughout her career. She's like the executive director of the National Board of Education and Sciences and things like that and services. We'll get to her in a bit. But first of all, let's get to you. So Kihanna, siblings, you have any? 12. Oh, this is a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. She has 12 siblings. All right, so now let's get to this. 12 siblings. Where do you fall?
The fourth oldest.
Fourth oldest. Okay. So can you name all your brothers and sisters?
Yeah. Well, I can. Some of them I've never met.
Really?
Yeah.
That's an interesting dynamic. But 12.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so now that means they're looking to you to set the example. And the things you've been doing at BHS, you've been preparing for your career. Tell us a little bit about what career you decided you wanted to go into.
I want to go into biomedical engineering.
Okay, so why biomedical engineering? Why that? What did that interest? Why did that pique your interest?
It kind of just combines everything that I enjoy in school, like math. I really like biology. And I had the opportunity to go down to the Beverly Hospital, and I did a little bit of work with the biomedical engineer there. And clinical engineering is something that I could see myself doing. Really
Nice. So how did that come about? What do your parents do for a living? If you don't mind me asking.
My mom doesn't have a job.
That's okay.
I don't know.
All right. So you just decided, even though you're this young, you're a junior in high school, you're like, listen, this is the footprint. This is how I'm going to leave my mark. This is what interests me. And the beauty of that is, once you decide to get involved with something like that, you're now paving the way for someone else who might have the same interests as you. And that's the beauty of footprints. Do you have any pets, Kihanna?
I have 2 Dobermans.
2 Dobermans. How old?
I think 3 and 2.
3 and 2? I have a Shih Tzu puppy, and he's about 9 months old, 10 months old. Bear, we love him. Tried to get him on America's Favorite Pets, but it didn't quite work out. So let's think about this. What are some of your dislikes, things you don't really like? Think about it. It could be anything.
Anything?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like cheese.
You don't like cheese? Oh, my daughter would be upset. My daughter's a cheese lover through and through.
I'm lactose.
Yeah? Well, that would make me not like cheese.
Yeah.
If I were you. So how about this? Tell us something about yourself that nobody knows. Something could be quirky, could be funny, something about you that no one on earth knows it. Share that with us.
That nobody knows?
Nobody knows.
I feel like I don't have any. There's not.
There's no skeletons in the closet? Come on.
I'm very open.
I like that. Being open is very good. That's how my parents were with us as kids growing up. So that's always a good thing. All right. So you don't have anything quirky or funny, like you don't drink lemonade upside down or anything crazy like that, right? No. I like that. So let me ask you this. Let's get a little serious here. What motivated you to sort of step into the leadership role for the Alliance for Students of Color?
It aligns with a lot of the stuff that I've always been interested in. I've For a while now, I've been trying to put myself out there and make a change regarding um, the disparities between like different ethnic groups, minority groups, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when Mr. Pittman had approached me and asked me if I was interested in the leadership role, I thought it'd be a great opportunity to expand on what I had previously aligned with and been working towards through other.
Nice. So imagine that. You just said, I'm going to take the lead on this thing. I'm going to jump right in and do it. And it's worked out. You've worked out fabulously. I got to be honest. By the way, Mr. Davis is also an advisor to the Alliance for Students of Color with Mr. Pittman, and leading us to Kihanna's been great leading us. By the way, um, what have been some of the most rewarding and challenging parts of your role?
I think as far as challenges go, it can be very like it can be stressful at times
Mm-hmm.
because like you have all these ideas but putting them into action and like getting all of the small details figured out tough.
Mm-hmm.
And amongst all the other things that are already going on, it being junior year, it's super busy. So kind of balancing that along with all of the responsibilities that come with the leadership position.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
And then
So, I mean, think about it. How has it shaped your identity and your personal growth, being a leader of the Alliance for Students of Color?
I think it's definitely changed my perspective on a lot of things. Like I have a lot more appreciation for again all of the small details that go into preparing something, whether it be small or something like we're doing for Black History Month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I never really considered how much effort and how much thought you have to put into all of these things. And I
Absolutely.
think now coming back from that, I have a lot more like respect and I see all of the effort that people have to put in to
No
get things
question.
done.
No question. So now, how do you foster a sense of sort of belonging and empowerment amongst the group?
Honestly, belonging, I think that everybody in the group, we all have like a nice connection.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people who are a part of the club, I didn't know before
Right.
this year, or I knew who they were, but I didn't know them on a personal level. But I feel like being able to, like, we share different pieces of our identity with each other,
Mm-hmm.
and it's easy to connect through those things and kind of expand on that, build friendship with each other. And I think we've kept it kind of more casual
Mm.
to a point where we can all just kind of conversate with one another, even if we're not
Right.
completely familiar with each other. And I think that people feel a lot more welcome at the club because it's not like overwhelming or stressful or anything like that.
And that's what we want. We want to have a nice, welcoming atmosphere when people. We want as many folks to come in and feel that at home and at ease. As they come into our particular place and they hang out and we talk over certain things and do certain things. So that's what we want. We want to foster that type of environment. Um, what lessons have you learned? What do you think?
I think a lot of the lessons that I have learned, the knowledge that I've gained from being in this position
Mm-hmm.
is kind of realizing not everybody is on the same page about a lot of the things that we try to accomplish through this
Mm-hmm.
program. I've had conversations, advisors of the club, about how different administrators tend to go about the things that we want to do,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and how it's kind of like walking on eggshells with a lot of the things because being in a community where we are the minority, administrators tend to not want to upset the majority, and they tend to kind of adhere again towards that majority, and it
Mm-hmm.
can be hard to get the things that we need to get done
Mm-hmm.
when they're not 100% willing to I will.
No, I understand. And Mr. Davis has been dealing with that his whole life, ladies and gentlemen. So I kind of know that. But the beauty is we now have an organization where we can sit and talk, right? And we can work out our differences and we can bring those to administrators and say, hey, listen, this is how we feel. This is what we need to do about this. Let's affect change in a positive way, right? And that's the beauty of Footprints and the beauty of the Alliance for Students of Color as well. Experiences and challenges are huge with everybody. Can you share with us a time where you sort of faced a challenge and some pushback and how you dealt with it?
Like at any point.
Any point. Because challenges happen every day, right, to us. And we have to sort of figure out how we're going to deal with those, right? We're going to jump in and meet it head on, or we're just going to just let it go away. I'll share with you something that I always tell my basketball team. I've been a basketball coach for a number of years. And before one game, I said this because I'm going to give Tom Brady credit for this one. I said, fate whispered to the warrior, you cannot withstand the storm. The warrior whispered back, I am the storm. So what's beautiful about that is even though you're in the midst of the storm, you're creating that whole environment, but you're dealing with it at the same time, right? And that's what we do as educators, and that's what you do as students, especially with this particular Alliance for Students of Color, this group, right? So that's the tough challenge that we have,
Yeah.
right? Walking that fine line and being able to do that. Excuse me. So in what way do you think our school is succeeding and doing more things for our students and improving students and supporting students of color? You think they're improving? In what way? You see that as a positive thing, or do you think that's on the horizon that we need to work on that a little bit more?
I think we definitely need to put more effort into that, just the whole realm of those kinds of issues, because it's a wide variety. It's not just as simple as like setting a new rule. Like it's a lot more intricate than that. There's a lot of layers that go into it, and I think that there's still a lot of progress that needs to be made.
For sure.
When it comes to making students of color feel welcome, safe at school.
Now, have there been moments where you kind of felt unheard, overlooked? And how did you push through that, if that were the case?
There have definitely been times where I felt like, again, overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I thought the only thing that I could do was bring my concerns to the higher ups at the school and see if they would resolve it. But oftentimes that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually a part of this the Beverly Dialogue Youth Corps, I believe it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And we basically meet once every month to plan a dialogue session in May and June to bring awareness to issues within.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that through dialogue, through co-facilitating and organizing an event where we can talk about issues that I have been trying to address with people who might be able to make a change, it was a lot more effective than sitting around and doing nothing about the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Pittman was actually in attendance. I co-facilitated with Elodie, and we talked about the impact of internalized racism on students of color. And I think the turnout was really successful, and we were heard by a lot of the staff at the school on issues that they may not have been aware of before or was being swept under the rug by a lot of the administrators at the school.
So let's think about this for a second. Mr. Pittman, who is one of the advisors for the Alliance of Students of Color, was integral in moving that forward and getting you onto that panel with Elodie, right? And now you're talking and you're figuring out some things, right? And you're thinking to yourself, we have to have this dialogue because if we don't, things just get swept under the rug, right? And so Mr. Pittman left a footprint on you regarding that. And you took that footprint and said, I'm going to carry that forward. I'm going to move something. I'm going to move the needle a little bit. I'm going to do something about it.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part of footprints. We all have them every day. We get them. And it's, what do we do with them? How do we move those forward? How do we make sure that we understand we have a responsibility, not just to ourselves, but to other people? Because it's like a ripple effect. You're affecting as many people with your thoughts and actions as they are affecting you. So that's a beautiful thing. We like that. Can you share a moment when you felt your work truly made a difference?
Again, circling back to the dialogue event, I feel like we were co-facilitating. We were just asking questions. Everybody had a chance to answer the questions and a time to go around, and then had a period where we got to discuss with one another. It wasn't timed. We just got to have like an organic conversation. And at the end, we asked for feedback from everybody, how they felt leaving the event. And all of the feedback was positive, and everybody had told us that they felt really impacted and that they wanted to help us make a change. And I feel like that was really rewarding. And it kind of showed me that putting yourself out there and doing things that maybe weren't comfortable with before can make a difference, and it's important to continue.
No question, which is why I'm so happy. So, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, February 25th at an advisory at BHS, Dr. Keenan McKenzie DeFranza, who is the North Shore chapter president of the NAACP, will be coming to BHS, and she'll be speaking a little bit about that, about nurturing and fostering like different things and how we can come together as opposed to being separated. I can't wait for that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really, really rewarding, and also a lot of information being passed. What steps would you like to see our school take toward creating a more inclusive environment?
I've actually been thinking about this a lot. I recently had a conversation where we tried to come up with different things that might make students of color feel more welcomed in the community. And I think a lot of what makes students feel so separated or so different from everybody else is that a lot of the time we're not reflected in a lot of different aspects of school, whether it be the curriculum, the staff. I know there are very few Black teachers at BHS, and it was recently like we had the conversation. I don't think there are any Asian teachers either. Little to no Hispanic teachers. Like a lot of the student, like we are, even though we are a minority, there is a big percentage of the school that makes up that minority population. And whether it's a minority population or not, it makes you feel a lot more comfortable when you see yourself reflected in the staff, because you have somebody who you relate to.
Right.
And I tend to gravitate towards Black teachers more, because I feel like there's a level of understanding with experiences that we can kind of relate to. And it makes me feel a lot more comfortable and welcome at school. And when it comes to the curriculum, when we're learning more about different aspects of history rather than just white history, it can make you feel seen, and it can make you feel welcome. And it just, the lack of that is really discouraging a lot of different students.
For sure. So just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, Elodie LaPointe, who was our last leader or our president of the Alliance for Students of Color, now goes to an HBCU. And HBCU is a very important part of history. And sometimes they get kind of swept under the rug. In case you don't know, that's historically Black colleges and universities. And those are really, really, really good things to have, to be able to have choices and options to be able to go to, which we really love. Tell me, what are your hopes for the future for the Alliance for Students of Color?
I hope that the club can continue to expand, that more incoming students can find a place where they feel welcome in the club. And I hope that the club continues to make an impact on the community of BHS, and that we can continue to do these events like the one we're doing for Black History Month, whether it be for another month of appreciation or just in general to make people feel more welcome. Again, it all kind of circles back to everybody finding their place at school.
Nice. You're right, 100%, without a doubt. I concur with everything you just said. Circling back a little bit to you in being the biomechanic, you want to be a
Biomedical engineer.
biomedical engineer. That's it. Do you see yourself sort of continuing like this type of work, advocacy work, along with being that? Do you see yourself kind of balancing the two and still working for marginalized groups as well, sort of helping to get that word out? Do you see yourself doing that?
Definitely. And I feel like at a point it kind of interconnects. Like, again, there are levels to everything. And me going into the field of biomedical engineering, it's going to continue to pave the way for other Black women or have the same passion as I do. Because no matter what the field of study may be, we're always going to be a minority. So seeing somebody like myself going into that and succeeding, I feel like that in its own way is a form of trying to think like the word.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
No, I know.
it's like another form of like, I can't think of the word, but just seeing somebody who looks like you in a field like that might encourage people to move forward. But I also can see myself doing work that is more aimed towards making a difference.
No doubt. So without a doubt, I mean, it's interesting because, you know, as a group, African Americans are thought of rappers and dancers and singers and athletes, but there's doctors and lawyers and dentists and scientists that have done some certain things in throughout history. George Washington Carver being one of those guys. Madam C.J. Walker, who people don't really know about, who invented hair care products for Black women. So there's so much more to history that we could delve into, but to be part of the Alliance for Students of Color and able to sort of share that this month, as we're going to put our posters around the school, it's wonderful to be part of that whole thing. If you could implement one major policy change at our school, what would it be? Just one.
In any circumstance, not regarding one specific.
Just, yeah, it could be anything. One major policy change. Doesn't matter what it is. What would it be? Ladies and gentlemen, she just said mandatory nap time. I like that. I like that. Mr. Davis could use a nap every now and then. You know what I mean?
It would be really beneficial.
It would be. I mean, remember when you were a kid where you were in like kindergarten
and I got nap
you
time.
laid down and you did a little nap action?
And it's only been downhill from.
How great was that? I love it. If money were no object at all, and you could take anyone on vacation with you and anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
I'd probably I don't know. I'd definitely take my older sister and go to like Barbados.
Barbados? You've never been?
I've never left the.
Really? Oh yeah, you gotta travel a little bit.
Yeah, my dad's dad is from Barbados.
Okay.
So I'd love to.
So go back home and check it out, right? Tour his home country, see what's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. We talked a little bit about you and your hopes and dreams and what you want to do and the footprints you're leaving, and so other minority young women can follow in your footsteps. So let me ask you this question. What role do your friends have in sort of shaping who you are and playing, like what role do they have in sort of shaping who you are and who you're becoming and, you know, and why?
I think over time it's become apparent that the people you surround yourself with are really reflective of the kind of path that you're heading down in
Mm.
life. And so I've tried to surround myself with people who have similar goals to myself and are motivated to do well in life. And I think being surrounded by people who have that drive and believe that like it is an important part of their life,
Hmm.
they oftentimes will push me to being the best person that I can be. They're very supportive. They definitely give me a lot of motivation to do well and continue to push past all adversity.
For sure. And that's the thing with footprints too, right? Everybody faces adversity in their life. It's just how do we deal with it, right? We don't let it fester. We shouldn't. And if we do, we got to figure out how to get rid of it, flush it, rid of that thing because it's not going to serve you any good. Now, what's interesting is my father used to say certain things to me, and one thing he said to me one time is I was mad at my brother for a little bit, and he would look at me and start laughing, and he goes, "Tony, do you know what being mad at your brother's like?" I go, "No, what's that?" He goes, "Being mad at your brother is like drinking a cup of poison and expecting it to kill your enemy." I went, "What?" Then I went in the room and I thought about what he said, and he's kind of right. Like my whole thought was festering, and I'm like, "Oh man, my brother," and it was killing me more so than hurting him. And so as we go through our journey in life, right, and we leave footprints on people here, there, and everywhere, and they leave them on us, how do we carry them forward? What do we do with them? And the beautiful part about you is your journey is all set. You kind of knew and already know what you want to do, right? And so knowing that and being able to carry that and then being an example for young ladies behind you is wonderful. It's one of the greatest things we could give. It's a great gift to give someone. And that is really awesome. Really happy about that. Okay, one last question. If you could have lunch or dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would it be and why? Hmm. Anybody in history at all, dead or alive?
Bobby Seale.
Seal? The singer?
Bobby Seale?
Oh, I thought. Oh, I thought you said Seal, like the singer.
No, Bobby
Oh,
Seale.
okay. Why?
Um, Big fan of the Black Panther Party,
Okay.
and I just all of their everything that they did
Mm-hmm.
to making America a better place for Black Americans. It just is really inspiring, and I'd love to sit down with either Huey Newton or Bobby Seale and just kind of have a conversation
Yeah.
about how they came to form the Black Panther.
No doubt. No doubt. It's funny you said that because I was thinking it is Black History Month, and mine would be Martin Luther King, right? And the reason why everybody knows who he is, right? But I don't know if he was really kind of going for that, right?
Yeah.
He was a guy that was just called to something and he just kind of did it. And what's interesting is I would sit down with him and I'd ask him, why nonviolent? Why did you think that would work? Why did you think that would galvanize people and bring everybody together and make them like, sort of like hug it out and be like, all right, we're going to turn the other cheek. Why did he think that would work? And it has to a certain extent. I mean, listen, we still have a long way to go, but I feel as though right now we're turning the corner in terms of our humanity. And I feel like if people are more empathetic toward their fellow man in their own journey, as they're going through their own journey, they can kind of put themselves in someone else's shoes, so to speak. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for those type of people to carry those things forward and move the world forward, right? To influence our young folks, to make our young folks be more tolerant, right? Of not just the people that they're associated with, but everybody. Because the whole point of humanity is for us to come together as brothers and sisters and try to get to the same place at the same time, where everybody wants to be happy, everybody wants to have a good career, everybody wants to have a little money in their pocket, right? These are things we're all striving for. Now, people do them in certain different ways, right? And I think I said this to you before. My dad used to say to me, people work every day at these jobs that they have. And some people hate to go to their jobs. Oh, I hate to go to this job. I hate it. Can't believe I have to go, but I have to pay my bills. And some people get to go to their jobs. So I'm in the category of get to, because get to is better than have to, right? My dad always said you always get a job or a career that you get to do as opposed to having to do it. And so that makes all the difference in the world when you get to do something that you absolutely love, right? And so for you, you've got a path set and you're ready to go and explore that particular path. And I wish you much success. You're quite welcome. Thank you. It's been a pleasure having you on today, Kihanna. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to an end of another episode. Again, my name is Mr. Davis. I'm an educator at BHS. And I always leave you with this question. Who left a footprint on you? Thanks. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.